they have caused a lot of disruption in the first two opponents already. They need to continue that to be successful.
Those are the keys to the game, brought to you by CC's Pizza. So Chuck Long, myself, Brandon Gaudin, and don't forget about the third member of our on-air crew, Dick Honig. He is in the studio and on hand whenever we need him. He spent 22 years as an official in the Big Ten, 11 as a replay official, so we definitely are in good hands with Dick Honig as part of the crew. Just about ready to roll. Wisconsin won the toss, and they have elected to receive the football. And moments away from Wisconsin at 2-0, and Georgia State out of the Sun Belt Conference at 0-2. They're trying to get back in the winning column where they were a year ago. Georgia State, such a successful 2015, making their first ever bowl game, but they have struggled to start this year. How will they handle this tough atmosphere? We're about to find out. We are underway with a low kick, but it goes end over end and through the end zone. Let's take a look at our Auto Owners Insurance Impact players.
Well, you have Troy Fumagalli and Jazz Peavy. Jazz really stepped up last week, had 100 yards in receptions. Troy's their go-to guy, and then Alonzo McGee has a big task ahead of him. He'll be all over the field, though. He's had a good year, a good start to his year so far.
Yeah, those 18 tackles, most for Georgia State. Wisconsin starts on offense, and commanding the offense, the fifth-year senior from Dublin, California, Bart Houston. 23 years old, got his first start in game one in that hostile environment. Well, it wasn't hostile. There were a lot of LSU fans there, but Green Bay, up in Green Bay, got the win, and here he's handing it off to Taiwan Deal. So Deal gets the first carry out of the backfield. Remember, if you weren't with us a couple of moments ago, we announced that senior tailback Corey Clement is out. So Houston, a little more responsibility, as we said, up to him here in this one.
And a nice run-off tackle for Deal to start the game. You know, this line is still a young offensive line. I mean, they've really come together in the first two games. Good start right now.
That was Taiwan Deal's 14th carry of the season. It went for 5 yards, so 2nd and 5. And they're going back to that ground game. And a good push, a good surge, gets him 6 and a first down. And here's the play last week against Akron that caused the left ankle injury.
Yeah, just got his ankle caught underneath the tackle right there. And those ankle injuries and sprains will linger. And they kept him out today. Got a whole Big Ten season ahead of him.
Yeah, they thought he might be able to go. Instead, he's on the sideline in street clothes. And he has to watch as Taiwan Deal to back up. Dare Agunbowale, another backup, and the rest of the crew tries to get going here early. Well, 3 straight runs and 3 pretty good runs out of the gate for Taiwan Deal, the sophomore from Capitol Heights, Maryland.
Well, they've used a fullback offense to start the game, and not many teams nationally have this fullback offense, a 2-back offense with a fullback leading the way. And they want to exert their presence right now with the run game. Austin Ramish, number 20, their fullback leading the way. But I love the fact that you see a fullback offense. It's hard to find that anymore in college football.
Saw Paul Christ a moment ago, 50 years old. 2nd season now as the head coach of the Badgers. Of course, 2 stints as an assistant here as well. They know him well in Madison. Shifty. Couple of nice moves. That'll pick up the first. And another great surge there at the end. They can't get him down. So despite Clement being out, Taiwan Deal coming to the party early.
Sometimes when your star player is out, like Corey Clement, hey, the next guy steps up. So far, Deal, nice cutback against the grain against that Georgia State defense. But he has stepped up to the plate today. Hey, you get your opportunity, you take advantage of it. So far, so good for Taiwan Deal.
Well, last year when Clement was injured, he had over 500 yards and 6 touchdowns. So Deal is no stranger to being out there on the field, but right now he gets a breather, and they put in Dare Agunbowale as the I-back. But this is play action. Houston going for a home run ball. Was looking for Jazz Peavy, but overshot him.
Shannon Sullivan, the corner for Georgia State. He was in step with Jazz Peavy. And Jazz is one of their faster players, so it gives you an idea of the speed that Sullivan has for Georgia State.
Peavy had 2 touchdowns and 100 yards last week, and you see Michael Shaw, one of the very good outside linebackers, a redshirt sophomore from Georgia State, got dinged up on the play. While he is down, get another peek at Bart Houston, who will be facing a 2nd and 10 shortly. If you're looking for Penn State taking on Temple, by the way, go to btn.com/gamefinder to find that game in your area. And there's the head coach for Georgia State, Trent Miles. This is a program, as I mentioned at the top of the broadcast, just started back in 2010, first year at the FBS level 2013, and Trent Miles took them to a bowl last year, something they didn't certainly expect that early on in their tenure.
Yeah, first time ever in their history. Of course, it hasn't been a long history. Sun Belt Coach of the Year last year. So he has turned this program around, and he's 0-2 right now with a rough start. Of course, a great Wisconsin team to play today, but he is a good football coach on his way to some great things.
Opening drive for the Badgers from near midfield. Handing it off Agunbowale. His first carry goes for nothing. Stopped right there at the line. Nice job defensively. Coming up to make the stop, Trey Payne, who was suspended the first 2 games. They're happy to have him back as Georgia State. And he brought down Agunbowale.
And that was a big stop because they put Wisconsin in 3rd and 10. And traditionally, Wisconsin has not been good in this down and distance. They like to stay ahead of the chains and get into 3rd and short mediums. That's how they operate. Let's see how they execute here.
So the missed long pass, a run for no gain, 3rd and 10. A diving attempt at it, and did he bring it in? Yes, Troy Fumagalli, who had 100 yards in the LSU win. What a spectacular grab, and it moves the chains 11 yards.
I was watching film on Troy Fumagalli yesterday. Here's a little out route, great hands, stretches out. And he really stuck out to me on film yesterday. I go, he is really a good football player, a next-level football player, and they're going to find different ways today to get him the football.
Well, Akron saw what he did against LSU, Chuck, and last week they double-teamed him. He only had 2 catches and 16 yards as a handoff, Taiwan Deal up the middle.
Taiwan Deal on the carry.
And 7 yards for Taiwan Deal. So a nice drive here for Wisconsin. And in the first 2 games of the year, the first quarter has been very friendly to these Badgers. I mean, look at those numbers. That's unbelievable.
It is unbelievable. You can credit their defense as well, getting the opponent off the field quick. But the yardage is unbelievable. And they're on their way to another big first quarter right now.
Those numbers added up to 331 first quarter yards for Wisconsin, 11 for their opponents. That was not a typo. Back to the ground, spinning but not able to get anywhere. Nice tackle by Alonzo McGee. Coaches said he is a solid football player. UAB transfer when they dissolved their program, and a nice stop for him there.
Yeah, he's one of our impact players at the beginning of the telecast, and he has to have a big day because they're going to be running right between the tackles all day long, and he has to be disruptive in there, and there he's free to the ball carrier and made a nice play on Deal.
Limited him to a 1-yard gain, now 3rd and 2. They're right on the edge of Rafael Gaglianone, his field goal range. They'll give it to the fullback. And hit Austin Ramish and driven back.
Austin Ramish with the carry.
Ramish has 6 rushing attempts for the first 2 weeks. That's his 7th on the season. But that only went for a gain of 1, and it brings up 4th.
The fullback belly play here. Again, I mentioned the fullback offense. You rarely see the fullback belly play in college football, but they run it here at Wisconsin. 4th down, big play. That's a nice stop by Georgia State. Usually that gets you about 2 yards every time. That was a nice stop.
They were 10 of 15 last weekend against Akron. They're going for it here on 4th down. 10 of 15 was on 3rd down. See if they can pick it up on 4th. Oh, it's going to be close. Georgia State saying no.
Looks like they have it.
He only needed a half yard. It'll depend on the spot, and the spot definitely gives him enough. He cleared it by the length of the football, if not more. So Taiwan Deal able to pick it up.
And that was just a isolation play with your fullback leading, and they got the first down. That was a good call by head coach Paul Christ, who's their play caller. Instead of going for the field goal, hey, let's get something going here. Go for it on 4th down. Keep the momentum.
So Wisconsin, I said, so good last weekend on third downs. Now they pick one up on fourth for the first time this year. They were 0-2 on fourth down tries. Now here busting it outside, Bradrick Shaw. Shoestring tackle by Bobby Baker, or that might have been a house call. So the freshman Bradrick Shaw with his first carry, he came on late against Akron, had 9 rushes for 74 yards, and they said with Clement out he was going to get more work.
Just a fullback counter play, which is a staple here for Wisconsin football with the guard leading the way. And what it does, it gets angle blocks on the defensive linemen. It's an easier concept to block because you get angles on those defensive linemen. Always been a Wisconsin stable. Nice gain. Usually a rundown here on second medium.
The 2 receivers out to the left there, and they give it to the I-back, Bradrick Shaw. This time not as many yards. He had 5 on the first carry, and now on second down, just about a yard.
Well, you knew they weren't just going to go in the game with 2 running backs after Clement gets hurt. They had to be a third guy. They have Shaw in there. They've always liked a 3-man rotation if they could get one, and they really like this redshirt freshman.
The story last year for Wisconsin, they won 10 games, but really out of the ordinary. They only rushed for 150 yards a contest. And the first time since 2004, they did not have a 1,000-yard rusher. They really want to get back to that ground game here in 2016. Over the middle, batted away. Trying to get it to Kyle Peniston, the freshman tight end, but broken up by the safety, Bobby Baker.
And that was a dangerous throw for Bart Houston. It was just a little in route by Peniston there, and oh, nice play. Just getting his hand in there, disrupting that. But that could have been a pick 6 if he broke a little bit earlier.
Paul Christ with a couple words of advice as Gaglianone, the junior from Sao Paulo, Brazil, coming on for a 41-yard attempt. And that is through. So Wisconsin, the drive stalls, but they do get something on the board. Rafael Gaglianone from 41 yards out, and Wisconsin strikes first. And the man leading the troops for the Panthers, Connor Manning. Now, he's a transfer from Utah, but at 3 years at Utah, he was a backup for the Utes. Now in his first season as a starter. Redshirt junior from Lake Forest, California. And turning around and handing it off for a nice gain by Kyler Neal.
Kyler Neal in the game to start the game, and oh, I like that hair.
How about that?
You know, hair coming out. Good start. Puts him in second and manageable.
And we've got our first flag of the game at the 6:59 mark. We get to meet our referee, Greg Blum, here.
Prior to the snap, false start. Offense, number 56. 5-yard penalty. Second down.
Well, it went from a good start to a bad start.
Yeah, Panthers go 6 yards forward and 5 back. And that was on Alex Storr, the right guard.
Not sure what he was hearing there. The quarterback wasn't even in his cadence yet.
They'll hand it off again on second down. A gain of 2 that time. They go to Kendrick Dorn. We mentioned you'll see quite a few backs. You'll see Neal, who had the first carry with the long hair. That time Kendrick Dorn. You'll also see Darius Stubbs and DeMarcus Kirk in that backfield for Georgia State.
Let's see how fast Georgia State goes with their offense. They do have tempo or up-tempo in their offense. And it gives you a chance. It gets defenses tired out. They'll have to do some of that today.
They need 7 yards on third down. Here comes the pressure. Hit as he throws. And getting in there, T.J. Watt, the brother of J.J. and Derek Watt. That name carries a lot of weight in Madison.
I think Georgia State was trying to set up a screen, and Dorn could not get out. You see number 1 there, could not get out for the screen pass. And that was a good throwaway by Manning, because if it's not there, you just have to throw it away. But that was a screen setup.
Grounding. The quarterback threw the ball in the area without a receiver. Offense, number 7, at the spot of the pass, lost it down, 4th down.
Well, when you throw it away, you got to throw it at the feet of the running back. See the running back Dorn get caught up in there. He just didn't get out. You have to throw the ball at the feet of the running back where he is, and then they won't call intentional grounding. He just threw it outside too far. No receiver in the area.
Brandon Wright in the punt for Georgia State.
On to punt, Brandon Wright. Jazz Peavy awaiting it. Backpedaling quite a bit. A nice punt by Wright. And Peavy searching for space. He has none. So nothing there on the return. James Traylor with a special teams tackle. 3-0 Wisconsin Wolverines against Colorado. And then in primetime, Northwestern takes on Duke. Coverage continues after our game on BTN. And, of course, streaming live on BTN to go. Here in Madison, Brandon Gaudin alongside Chuck Long. Badgers up 3-0, going back on offense. Starting just outside of their own 30. Play action. Houston with time, and it's complete over the middle. Across midfield, Jazz Peavy is going to have it inside Georgia State's 45, but he refuses to go down. Eventually, Peavy down to the turf.
Well, Georgia State went man-to-man coverage and put another guy in the box to stop the run game. Now you're one-on-one outside, and they just can't cover Jazz Peavy on a deep dig route. It's good to see Jazz Peavy get going in this football game early. Coming off a great game last week with 7 catches over at 100 yards last week. They need to get him going in this offense.
Now they'll turn to the ground game again. On the first drive, Wisconsin had 41 yards rushing. They get 4 more there. Speaking of Jazz Peavy, first 2 career touchdowns last week against Akron.
Well, he's gaining confidence with each game, with each catch. And again, last week was his breakout game. Let's see if that continues today and throughout the rest of the year. It's nice to have balance across the board with your wide receivers. In the first game, Troy Fumagalli was the guy. Now you're seeing some receivers step up. It's good to see Jazz Peavy step up for this offense.
Well, they lost Alex Erickson last year. He graduated down the left sideline. And they tried to get it to Agunbowale on the wheel route out of the backfield. Incomplete. But now with Erickson gone, they've been sporting efficiency all over the place. The running game good, the passing game good. In fact, look at the numbers from last week, Chuck. 294 rushing, 292 passing.
Hey, I was an offensive coordinator. It's hard to do that. I mean, you're 2 yards apart, perfect balance. You always strive for balance, but it's hard to get that close.
First time since the mid-90s that they've been 290 plus in both rushing and passing in a single game. Bart Houston will go from the gun. And they're trying to get him down. He moves to the right. Just trying to buy some time. And is he able to complete it to Peavy? Yes. So Bart Houston, good job of keeping the play alive and able to throw it for a 6-yard gain to George Rushing. That was not Peavy, it was Rushing.
And Georgia State is locking him down on the outside. They couldn't get off the coverage. Nice job of Bart Houston. Look at his vision. Kept his vision down the field, what keeps your receivers alive. Nice job, a safe throw on the sideline to Peavy. But that was Bart Houston, just keeping it alive, keeping his vision down the field. Georgia State doing a nice job of locking these receivers down. A lot of man coverage right now.
Down around the 26 on the carry. They went back to Bradrick Shaw, the freshman. So as expected, we've seen Shaw, Agunbowale, and Deal all out of the Wisconsin backfield. That time 7 yards for number 7, Bradrick Shaw.
He has good size to him. 6'1", 211 pounds. Typical Wisconsin running back. They recruit every year. Showing promise early.
Saw hands on hips for Georgia State. The first drive ate up over 7 minutes for Wisconsin, putting together another nice drive here in Panther territory. Shaw trying to break it outside, now back inside. First down. They said they like what they have in this freshman from Birmingham, and we're seeing why.
That's a great run by Shaw. And all good backs make the first guy miss or break the first tackle. Boom, made him miss, stayed on his feet. He's got to tuck that ball, tucks it right at the end there. Good hard run by Shaw. Squeezing that ball at the end. That's good coaching.
You think he's ready for a Wisconsin winner coming up here, the freshman from Birmingham, Alabama? This time he gets a breather and they go to Agunbowale. down inside the 15. They continue. That O-line is getting a lot of surge. And you and I were talking before the game, that O-line for Wisconsin, as usual, they have some big boys, a lot of meat up front.
Yeah, they do. And going into the season, I thought this would be still a work in progress, but they have come out early in this year and surprised a lot of folks nationally. They are back to a typical Wisconsin veteran line.
And staying on his feet, but still short of the line to gain there. Agunbowale, 2 yards, and that'll bring up a 3rd down.
And they're big up front. I mean, they're across the board, 314, 334, 325, 321, 313 from left tackle to right tackle.
A lot of bratwurst.
A lot of bratwurst. Big up front. They run the zone scheme well. They run their counter scheme well, as you saw in the last play. And not to mention, they have a fullback in there, which brings a lot of beef to the line as well.
Yeah, Ramish and Ingold, the 2 fullbacks, both up around 250. Just a lot of size. Play action. And out to the right side, that is the aforementioned fullback, Alec Ingold. But not much there. So now Wisconsin 2 of 5 on 3rd down tries, and this brings up 4th, and a decision for Paul Christ, and he sends out the field goal unit.
Yeah, good decision. Get your points. Going for 3 early means you don't have to go for a touchdown late, is a general rule of thumb.
Well, you're a former quarterback. He was getting in the ear of Bart Houston. Was it about the decision there to throw to Ingold?
I thought it was good coverage.
28-yard attempt. Gaglianone hit earlier from 41, and now he connects there to make it 6-0. So all the points from the right leg so far of Rafael Gaglianone in the first quarter. A bit later on, right now we're dealing with Georgia State and Wisconsin at Camp Randall. The students always show up here. An electric crowd, an electric atmosphere. After the field goal for 3, Wisconsin kicking it away to Glenn Smith and Georgia State, but that goes 8 yards deep, and Smith goes down to a knee.
Well, for Georgia State now, obviously they've struggled offensively so far this year, and they had a nice run to start the game, then they had an illegal procedure, moved them back. If they just can cut the pre-snap penalties out, that's improvement.
How about that time of possession? Just 120 for Georgia State that they've had the football, 12:49 for Wisconsin. And coming into this game, Wisconsin best in the Big Ten in time of possession. Georgia State worst in all of FBS football.
Not a good matchup. Yeah, one of the best and one of the worst.
And that has kept true to form here so far as we get late in the first quarter. Kyler Neal, his 2nd carry for the long-haired redshirt junior from Dallas, Georgia. 4-yard gain.
When you watch Wisconsin on defense, as I did all week, you notice that they are susceptible to runs up the middle between the tackles. They have given up yardage between the tackles so far this year. You don't want to run too much on the edge of this Wisconsin defense. You want to go right at them.
They're going to go back to Neal, and he's a yard short of the first down. It'll bring up 3rd and 1. Nice tackle by one of the great members of the linebacking core, Jack Sitchie. Will likely roll us to the end of the quarter. And indeed it will. Georgia State, they have only 5 yards, but they're down 6-0 after 1 quarter in Madison. After the first quarter, and the first quarter, just like the first 2 weeks, was dominated by the Badgers. 110 yards, just 2 yards of offense for the Panthers of Georgia State in that opening quarter. Now they're setting up for a 3rd down and 1, and hit in the backfield. Coming up to make the tackle, none other than Vince Beagle, the senior from nearby Wisconsin Rapids.
Well, they went to a wildcat formation. Georgia State did. Just a rough snap. It really never got going. But there was no element of surprise there. Wisconsin said, oh, we have a wildcat formation. They had time to look at it coming out of that timeout. Easily defended.
And now a botched punt State picked it up, but obviously it will be Wisconsin football inside the Panthers' 25 as Brandon Wright, the punter, never really had it cleanly.
Just never had it, like you said, Brandon, just never had the ball clean. Oh, bounces into him. Did the best he could. Really need to squeeze that ball there.
Low snap from Seth Patrick Holman, and number 56, Zach Bond, getting in there to disrupt. And now Wisconsin, having to settle for field goals on their first 2 drives, will certainly be looking to hit pay dirt here as they start from the 23. Shaw stretching it out right side, finding some room. Pushed out inside the 10.
That was great patience by Shaw, letting his block set up on the edge. That was the first play of the game right there. They went back to it. I love head coaches that go back to plays they ran earlier for success. Guard pulling, good patience right there. Saw the hole at the end. Big first down run by Shaw. I'm impressed with him. 5
carries, 35 yards for Shaw. In mop-up time against Akron, he had 9 carries for 74 yards in his first career score after not seeing any action against LSU up at Lambeau. So first and goal. Shaw again. Stretching out shy of the 5.
They've always given it to the hot hand. Kept the running backs in there. They have the hot hand right now. Currently, it's Shaw. That was the same play to the other side. Good job by Georgia State stopping that one. But as you mentioned before, they have their hands on their hips on the defensive line. They're tired already with all this time of possession that Wisconsin has had.
That's been Wisconsin's MO this whole year. Continues to be the story. Second quarter here from Camp Randall. Around the left side and pushed out shy of the goal line. Bradrick Shaw almost got in there, but Trey Payne with a touchdown-saving tackle, a big touchdown-saving tackle. He hit him hard.
Yeah, you saw number 20, Austin Ramish, their fullback, leading the way, trying to get the corner, which he did. Knocked out of bounds before he scored, but love the fullback blocking here by Ramish to lead the way.
Third and goal. Shaw lost the football, and Georgia State recovers it. Bobby Baker jumped on it right around the 6. And still the Badgers yet to hit pay dirt.
Well, that's what puts you on the bench when you're a young running back, is when you cough up the football, especially near the goal line. But anytime, here it is, just a little guard pull, a little power scheme. Just lost the ball.
Alonzo McGee forced the contact. Baker picked it up, and Georgia State only down 6 early second quarter.
You're going to see Shaw, the running back, here at the mesh point with Bart Houston. He did not give Bart Houston a good pocket to put the ball into, and then Alonzo McGee cleaned it up. There's not a good pocket there, and he needs to tuck that football. That's all Shaw right there. Alonzo McGee makes the strip.
And Baker jumped on it. Now they're making noise at Camp Randall with Georgia State having the football pinned back inside the 10. They go to Kyler Neal. He was just looking for breathing room, but Sitchie stopped him after a short gain.
And you like Jack Sitchie. Very slippery linebacker to the ball, as head coach Paul Chris would say. Kind of a quiet guy, but gets a lot of statistics. Knows how to play that middle linebacker position. Great vision.
Connor Manning has not thrown the football until right there. And it is complete, but short of the first down marker. He got it to Robert Davis.
You'd like to keep Robert Davis on his feet, but that was a good, safe throw on a slant route, because you don't know where those inside defenders are sometimes on those slant routes. So he made a nice, safe throw right at the gut of Robert Davis.
When Manning does throw, you have to keep an eye on Davis. Number 8 currently in FBS yardage among all active players. There they go back to the ground to Kyler Neal, and he's able to pick up the first.
Kyler Neal's a tough running back. Sticking his nose in there, just a little counter play again. We call that a fold scheme with the guard folding over. Pick up a crucial first down.
Offensive coordinator Luke Hoover told us that Neal in year 4 does everything that they ask him to do. Now they go back to the air, and that's the aforementioned Davis. And he gets a big gain and a first down.
They have to get Robert Davis going. He's one of the best receivers in the Sun Belt Conference. And they had a little wide receiver screen to him. Here it is, wide receiver with the guys leading the way. On the sideline where it's safe to run, there's less defenders over there. Get to the edges as much as you can in your passing game where there's less defenders.
Just saw the numbers there briefly again. Top 10 among current players in yardage in all of FBS football. And now let's send it to Chicago and Mike Hall for a T-Mobile studio update.
Brandon and Chuck, the top 15 ranked Hawkeyes are finally on the board against their FCS foe, North Dakota State. That's a 30-yard pass from C.J. Beathard to Riley McCarron. It's 7-7 in the second.
First meeting between North Dakota State and Iowa since 1947 in that one. Here it's the first ever meeting between Wisconsin and Georgia State. And we're going to have a timeout taken by Trent Miles and the Panthers. Well, they got to be pretty pleased with where they're at. Only down 6, 10:04 left in the second. With top 10 Wisconsin at Camp Randall Stadium. And Georgia State has the football, facing a second down and 8 from their own 40. Connor Manning swings it out to the left side. Safe pass. He's thrown 3 safe passes, and he's completed all of them. That one to Keith Rucker, the tight end.
And Keith Rucker's the other player they need to get going in this football game, which they haven't done in the first couple of games. And that was a nice safe throw. It was a little pick play near the sideline, and they had Keith Rucker wide open.
33 yards on those 3 passes for Connor Manning, the transfer from Utah. Another quick throw out to the left side. They had Robert Davis open. And then a tackle by the safety, Leo Musso. Head coach of Georgia State, Trent Miles, in his 4th year with the program. And you see what he did last year, Chuck. Coach of the year in the Sun Belt.
Coach of the year in the Sun Belt. He's turned this program, a young program, around. You see his pedigree there. Been in some big-time places, knows how to coach, and has a really good staff, too.
Yeah, Jesse Minter, the defensive coordinator. Luke Hoover, that mentioned a moment ago, the offensive coordinator. But Jesse Minter, the defensive coordinator, his dad, Rick, is the D-line coach. Now, Rick Minter, football people might know, he was a longtime coach for Cincinnati and was also in the NFL as a linebackers coach for the Eagles the last 3 years. Right. So Trent Miles has really beefed up the staff there in Atlanta. That's
a smart hire when you go out and get a veteran coach to help you out.
Second down and 8. It's also nice for Jesse Minter to have his father there as the D-line coach to help him out.
Absolutely.
Left side, they go back to the tight end, Rucker, and he's got the first. So after a couple really struggling drives for Georgia State, now Connor Manning and company starting to get some confidence.
Some confidence in his throws. He's getting the ball out on time. It's just a little seam route by Rucker right on the sideline. Oh, nice little throw by Manning before the DB got there. He threw it right at Rucker to stop him with the throw.
Into Badger territory. And a handoff, they go back to Neal. Gain of 2. It'll bring up second and 8. Another tackle for Jack Sitchie, who the coaches just say has an innate feel for the game, and he's a ball hawk today.
Now they're picking up the pace on offense, which is, I believe they need to do that to try to wear down Wisconsin a little bit.
In our coaches meeting with them, you're exactly right, Chuck. They said we have to get the ball out of our hands quickly. They're a little too quick on the trip on the exchange from Manning to Neal, and he just never had his footing.
It looked like Neal stepped on Connor Manning's foot at the handoff and slipped. Let's see what happens here. No, he just fell down. We call that the turf monster.
I was just going to say turf monster sent him backwards 3 yards. Now they face a 3rd and 11. They need to get to the 21. Manning dumps it off left side. Not enough. Again, he targets Robert Davis, but Wisconsin was there to stop him after a gain of 4.
And that's a good play offensively. You know, everybody thinks, well, why didn't you go for the change? They threw a screen pass out there. Get them in field goal range. They were 3rd and long right there. That's smart coaching for Georgia State. They need to get some points on the board. So they got a little bit of it back to get in better position for the field goal.
Rohir Lohaus, he's a senior. This is just his 3rd game ever playing American football and only his 2nd field goal attempt. He missed one a week ago. This from 45, and it's blocked. Wisconsin's D, they hold strong. They gave up some ground in the yardage department, and Trent Miles and the Panthers cannot scratch off that goose egg.
Well, you get.
Georgia State tried to get on the board, but Wisconsin said, no, we want a BTN standout play instead.
Watch defensive lineman Connor Shee here just staying lower than Georgia State and kept at it and got the hand up at the last second to cause the block. That's great effort by Sheehy, just staying lower than Georgia State and kept working towards the kicker.
Junior from down the road in Milwaukee, making a BTN standout appearance. Now they go to Agumbawale on the ground to start the drive offensively. He'll get 5 yards. It'll bring up 2nd and 5.
Ball's marked on the 33-yard line.
Well, let's see if they get Bart Houston going a little bit on this drive. It's been a lot of run games so far for Wisconsin. You know, they're in the second manageable, 2nd 5 right now. It's usually a run down here.
Houston 4 of 7 passing, but you're right, rushing-wise, 21 carries, 89 yards total as a unit for the Badgers. Houston does look to throw, and he's got it complete right around the 1st down marker. It was brought in by Kyle Peniston, the redshirt freshman tight end from California.
Yeah, they're working Peniston in there along with Fumagalli at tight end. Nice mix. Just a little stick route here. Good job by Houston waiting for that, being patient, and letting Peniston work in the middle. Good job in the pocket by Houston, being patient, because he took a shot at the last moment there. Here's your diamond offense here.
They did get enough for the first, barely. But Peniston with a 1st down catch, and now they're going on a sweep to Peavy. And Peavy able to get 8 yards. So they go to the wide receiver running game there. They thought, Chuck, that they were going to have Corey Clement running the ball. He was unable to practice this week. And they've been turning to other guys, and here they go wide receiver run with Peavy.
Saw this yesterday in practice, trying to get their faster players the ball on the edge. There's the fly sweep to Peavy. Let's see if they get back to that. It's a good changeup, though. Keep that defense honest.
That was Clement over there with a headset on the sideline, trying to contribute however he can. And his teammate Agumbawale taking it to midfield. He tried to get the ankle warmed up before the game. He was out there, but they ultimately deemed unable to go.
Yeah, he tried there, and most of the time what happens is after you warm up, you go back in the locker room and it starts to hurt a little bit more.
Still got that brace on. And they informed us yesterday he's going to be a game-time decision, and the decision is to hold him out, obviously. But still, they're averaging over 4.5 yards a carry right now, so they're doing a nice job on the ground. This time they put it in the air. And it's complete to Alec Ingold out of the backfield, the fullback, with a 12-yard gain on a 1st down.
And I mentioned Wisconsin's one of the best teams in the country in the use of their fullbacks. Here they have a play-action fake. Here's Alec Ingold from the fullback position. Just a little flat route. Nice job by Bart Houston flipping his hips around and throwing to his left to the flat, which are hard throws to make. Right on the money. Keeps Ingold running. In fact, he shouldn't have stopped there. Just keep going. He probably had more yards. Fullbacks don't really know what to do in the open field.
Yeah, you're right, though. The tight ends and the fullbacks, they've used 5 of them collectively already in this game. Wisconsin likes those 2 positions. And here they go back to a tight end, Kyle Peniston. He tried to make a spectacular grab, but unable to come up with it on the dive.
What I like about Bart Houston right now is throwing everything on time and with rhythm. He's putting that back foot in the ground. He's hitching and throwing every single time, not hesitating. That was a great read and a good throw. Peniston needs to come up with that ball. Had two hands on the ball. You got to make that catch.
And think about Houston. Didn't get a start until his 5th year. He punted a couple games as a sophomore, but now he stayed around and he's earned his stripes. Pats the ball and fires on 2nd and 10, and that one drops incomplete. Peniston had it, tried to trap it on the right side of his body. Slaps his hands together in frustration.
Those are two good throws by Bart Houston to Peniston. Peniston needs to come up with that ball. That's a little stick route or a little out route. And you mentioned Bart Houston being a 5th year, first-year starter. Love the patience there. Most guys would graduate early and transfer somewhere else when they're not the starter. He stayed, and he's making the most of his 5th year. That's a very rare thing in college football today, to stick around that long.
3rd and 10. Stepping up in the pocket, and a little wide of the intended target, Jazz Peavy. Peavy had some room to run in front of him, but Houston maybe led him a little too much.
Head coach Paul Christus attacking the edges of this Georgia State defense. That was a well-designed route, but Bart Houston needed a little bit more air on the throw. He threw it too flat and too low. Just a little bit more air to the sideline to let Jazz Peavy run underneath that. That was Bart Houston there.
Wisconsin now 2 of 7 on 3rd down as Houston and Peavy have a word with each other on the sideline. Anthony Lottie with a punt. Smith took the gamble of going for a fair catch inside the 10 instead of letting it drop and maybe roll into the end zone. Not a lot of points. 6-0 our score. Security blanket, Keith Rucker, the tight end with his 3rd catch.
And they're moving their best players around in the formation to get him the football to confuse the Wisconsin defense. Here Keith Rucker's on the inside. Just a little down and in route. Good throw by Manning.
Trent Miles, he's not smiling, but he might be smiling on the inside right now because they are fully in this ball game. Trying to throw it to the sideline and fit it into Todd Boyd. And they will call it complete.
And that was a great throw by Connor Manning to Todd Boyd. Only place he could put it was outside and low on the sideline. Scans the field nice, stays in the pocket. Let's see what happens here. Oh. Let's take a look at that.
Yeah, there was surprise in my voice and the crowd too. They didn't like the call.
Did not look from our angle that he was in bounds. Only place he could put that throw.
So they will review it with 2:02 remaining in the 2nd quarter. We get one more look.
Here it is. Doesn't look like he's in there.
Derek Tyndall was there right away to say, no, he didn't catch it. And I have to say, from the look of that review, and we have the advantage of the replay, definitely appeared to be out. I'm sure Paul Chryst thought so, too. Good time to bring in our 3rd member of our on-air crew, our rules expert, Dick Honig. And Dick, what did you see on the replay?
Well, I think if you look at his back foot, it is really close to being on the sideline. And if that's on the sideline, it's there before he possesses the ball. It's a play that has to be reviewed. And the question will be, does the replay have enough visual evidence to say that it isn't a catch? And that might be tough.
Thank you, Dick. That's why we have him.
Yep. That back foot he mentioned there.
Yep, he looked clearly out. We'll make sure.
Yep.
Head referee Greg Blum will have the ruling in a second. But pleased to have Dick Honig this year. 22 years as a Big Ten official and such a resource for us back in the studio.
Good coverage by Tyndall. There's the catch again. I don't think he had that back foot in bounds.
First time they've targeted Todd Boyd, the junior. They told us that he is their best route runner. But the route may be taking him a little too close to the sideline.
Watch his left foot. Depends on where that left foot was. Right. Looks like the left toe and foot are out of bounds from here. There it is. That's a good angle right there.
And a lot of times with these reviews, they know what they're going to do, and then they have to figure out what the clock was at and get that all reset. Greg Blum, the white hat on the left side of your screen. Paul Chryst, Wisconsin head coach, top right of your screen. As we wait the verdict. But 6-0, Georgia State. I've said it a couple times. They've got to be really pleased, don't they, with where they're at?
Absolutely. Considering Wisconsin's had the ball most of the time. And they're finding a little rhythm in their offense right now.
The receiver was touching out of bounds when he caught the pass. Therefore, it is an incomplete pass. It will be second down and 10 at the 22-yard line. Game clock operator, please reset the game clock to 2:09. 2:09.
So put 7 seconds more on the clock. Take away the catch from Todd Boyd.
And I think Trent Miles, the head coach of Georgia State, knew it. That's why he has a spread offense in there now. Shotgun with four wide receivers all spread out from the line of scrimmage, thinking this is going to be, thought it was going to be second long, passing down here.
Second and 10. Connor Manning will turn and hand it to Neal. He'll eke his way just across the 25.
That's why I'm up here. But that was a good call, actually, on second down. Trying to get some of it back, getting the manageable third downs. They just have not been very good on third downs this year. Now they have a manageable third and medium.
3rd and 6 to be precise. Again, spread out with 4 wide. They are making some noise here at Camp Randall. They want the stop defensively. Left side throw. Was he able to hang on? Yes, he was. A first down, a nice grab by Robert Davis.
And they're getting the ball to their star players. Here's Robert Davis with a big catch. Wisconsin brought the blitz, and Georgia State picked it up. Great. Gave him some time. You're one-on-one on the outside. Good pitch and catch.
Another quick throw for Manning. And another completion. 3-yarder to Glenn Smith. Coming up shortly at halftime, Buffalo Wild Wings halftime report with Dave Remsen, Jerry DiNardo, and Howard Griffin. Coming up in just under a minute of game time.
Like Connor Manning's confidence right now.
He's looking good. And throwing the ball quickly, just as I say that, almost intercepted by the talented corner Sojourn Shelton, the senior.
I was waiting for Shelton to show up, and he did. And that was a quick slant out to Davis, and he broke on the ball. Perfect break. Could have been a pick six if he just had 2 hands on the ball. Offensive line picked him up. Here's the slant. Shelton read it. Oh, he had a chance.
Georgia State, 3 of 6 on third down so far in this affair. Manning over the head of Robert Davis.
And Connor Manning knew it. He had Robert Davis on a little slant go. Just need a little bit more air and touch on the ball. It wasn't that far away from being a great completion, but that was a nice play call on a third and medium. He did a little slant go to Robert Davis and really fooled Shelton out there.
Jazz Heavey, deep for the Badgers.
But all for naught, and now the punting unit on. As Wright hits this one poorly off the side of his foot. They're going to say that it went out inside the 35.
And the punt goes out of bounds at the
So 40 seconds left in the second quarter. Wisconsin has all 3 timeouts in the 6-0 lead. The United States Marine Corps leader of the game is Bart Houston. The 5th-year senior quarterback from Dublin, California, graduated last December with a bachelor's degree in kinesiology and is currently pursuing his master's. Houston has been named an all Big Ten academic selection 3 different times and is active in the Badgers Give Back Community Service Program, having spent time with the pediatric cancer patients from American Family Children's Hospital right here in Madison. They say he is a wonderful, wonderful young man. And they're completing the pass to Agunbowale, and the crowd wanted a late hit. And a flag does come in indeed. Alonzo McGee being a little too active over there on the sideline defensively.
That's a huge mistake defensively. A late hit out of bounds with 40 seconds to go.
Following the play. Personal foul, late hit out of bounds. Defense, number 4. 15-yard penalty, automatic. First down.
And that's one of your redshirt senior leaders making that mistake.
Yeah, it's all about awareness on the field. Where are you on the field? You know you're near the sideline here. He's going out of bounds. Just stay up. Just push him out of bounds and stay up. That's a big mistake. Plenty of time here with 3 timeouts and 35 seconds for Wisconsin. You want to use a timeout when you get under 30 seconds right away.
Houston trying to get it outside to Robert Wheelwright. He had the right hand on it, but could not haul it in.
Excellent throw by Bart Houston. That's a back shoulder fade throw to Robert Wheelwright. And he's big, strong receiver. Good back shoulder throw. He just couldn't get that other hand in position to make the catch. But they like to single Wheelwright to the single side away from the trips to get him some one-on-one matchup because of his size. He's 6'3", 211 pounds.
Yeah, he and Peavy are a load to handle at the wide receiver spot for the Badgers. Pressure coming, quick throw. This time to the freshman, A.J. Taylor. And he gets the Badgers down into field goal range.
Little slip screen to the outside. Need to call timeout. Need to call timeout, which they did.
And they do indeed. 22 seconds left. Wisconsin hoping to add on to this 6-point lead. And Howard Griffith back in the studio.
Here's your wide receiver screen to A.J. Taylor on the outside. Good play call. They call that the tunnel screen. Go right between the hash in the middle of the field. Got the first down, called a timeout.
They still have 2 timeouts remaining. Houston now 8 of 15, 81 yards passing. And he's got time in the pocket. Now he's flush from the pocket. Using the legs to get to the 25.
Got to call timeout.
And they do stop the clock with 13 ticks to go in the half.
You basically have 2 plays here. Now you're down to 2 plays, maybe a third. But you always, when you coach, you say you got 6 seconds of play. Here he is in the pocket. You'd like to throw away there. You have some clock awareness to throw the ball away, but he did. Nice coverage down the field here by Georgia State. Nice coverage. They locked him down on the outside. Houston had nowhere to go. At least he got some positive yardage out of the play within field goal range.
Where the ball sits now at the 25, it would be about a 42-yarder. Now, earlier in the game, Rafael Gaglianone kicked a 41-yarder and a 28-yarder for the Badgers. Wisconsin looking to add on to their lead. Last week they blew past Akron to get their 36th consecutive home win over a non-conference opponent. That's quite a streak.
If you think you can make the field goal here, then you take a shot at the end zone one time if you know you're within field goal range. If you don't think you're within range, then you have to get a little closer, obviously. Let's see if they take a shot here.
That one timeout. 3 wide. Houston looking. And now the pressure comes. He takes off. He's got a little room. And he'll get inside the 15. And they can call the timeout and bring on the field goal unit with 4 seconds on the clock.
Man, they were lucky there. They were taking the shot, as I mentioned, down the field. and he almost got sacked out of field goal range. That could have been a disaster, but he got out of it. Nice job by Bart Houston getting out of this here. Could have hit, sacked right there, kept his head up, squeezed the ball, got down. And good awareness calling the timeout.
Houston certainly not known for his legs. 7 rushes, -7 yards in the first 2 games, but a couple of good carries there to get Gaglianone in better range. So he's hit from 41 and 28. This will be from 30. On his career, 78% on field goal attempts, and Georgia State's going to try to ice him. So the Panthers take the timeout. 4 seconds left of the half. A 6-0 game and not a 9-0 game at halftime, but Gaglianone with a chip shot 30-yarder. It's on the way, and he shanked it. Wide to the left, a rare miss for the experienced kicker, Rafael Gaglianone. And a rather disappointing first half for Wisconsin.
And that's a win for Georgia State going in at halftime to hold Wisconsin to 6 points.
So the miss by Gaglianone, and it remains a 1-score game at intermission. At Camp Randall Stadium, 9th-ranked Wisconsin 6, Georgia State 0. Not have been too happy with the first 30 minutes of the game. But his defense, they've done what they do. Georgia State yet to score. Another nice kickoff by Rosowski. Georgia State was, as we were saying earlier, just unable to get really anything going, Chuck, in that first half.
Yeah, they had the one drive there, 13-play drive for 66 yards, their best drive of the year. They just have not been efficient at all offensively in their first 3 games. And see, but they have a quarterback in Connor Manning that's found a little rhythm in the offense. Let's see if he can keep that rhythm going in the second half.
Yeah, you saw the numbers a moment ago. Manning 9 of 12 for 79 yards. Students are still fired up, though. They're just ready to jump around at the end of this third quarter.
They're going to wait. We're going to have some fun with that.
Yeah, we'll bring you the coverage of that right here on BTN. Second half starts with a pistol formation. Manning looks like a broken play, and he just slings it out of bounds. He turned the wrong way to try to hand the ball to Neal. It looked like that never got going the right way.
Yeah, I'm not sure what happened. There's a busted play in the backfield. He's actually trying to hand the ball off. Oh, the running back went to the wrong side, and he just threw it away. He's lucky he had a receiver in the area. Otherwise, that would have been intentional grounding. That was a run play, and he threw the ball.
Yeah, so Trent Miles, probably not what he envisioned for the first play in the third quarter when he discussed things in the locker room. 2nd and 10. This time it's complete across the 30 to Kendrick Dorn, one of the tailbacks getting his first reception in the catching game.
And Sojourn Shelton, the great cornerback for Wisconsin, had a bead on that ball. He was going for the pick 6. I don't know how he missed it.
So now 3rd down and 3. Georgia State 3 of 7 on 3rd down conversions so far. Make it 3 of 8. Defensively, T.J. Edwards, the sophomore who was a freshman All-American last year with 84 tackles. Nice job defensively.
And Brandon, we were waiting for T.J. Edwards this year, and Coach said he's going to be back. He's their most athletic linebacker. He did a nice job of inside out, letting the back catch the ball, stopping him before he got the first down.
Edwards played 4 series last week, barely getting that punt away. Brandon Wright. And it goes out of bounds on the Wisconsin sideline. But they are happy, no doubt, to have Edwards back defensively for the Badgers. Tonight, one of the biggest games this season in college football is on Fox. Number 3 Ohio State, they head to Oklahoma to take on the 13th ranked Sooners. Don't miss this top 15 showdown. Coverage begins tonight at 7 Eastern, only on Fox.
That will be a big game tonight.
Yeah, that is going to be spectacular. Oklahoma still trying to reel a little bit, recover from their opening week loss. Ohio State trying to stay unbeaten. Wisconsin, first play of the third quarter for them on offense. They turn to Dare Ogunbowale.
Good job by Georgia State stacking the box. Again, they're playing a lot of single coverage in the back end, man-to-man, to put an extra defender in the box for Wisconsin's vaunted run game. And they're just daring Wisconsin to throw the ball on the outside against that one-on-one coverage.
Wisconsin 26 rushes, 121 yards. Georgia State, they're under 10 yards of rushing in this entire game. Cradling that down to the ground, Robert Wheelwright able to stay in bounds shy of the 35.
Short throws to the sideline are the best throws, especially in one-on-one coverage. And they always put Wheelwright into the boundary just so they can make the short throw. He's not a speed receiver, but he is a big, strong receiver that can get off bump and run coverage and make the catch against guys that are tight on.
Last week, the Badgers were 15 of 20 on third down conversions. They were excellent against Akron, just 2 of 7 here this afternoon. Ogunbowale, little shifty move, and he's able to get across the line needed at the 38 to the 39. So now the Badgers are 3 of 8 on third down conversions.
I like what Ogunbowale did there. He didn't dance too much. He caught that little swing pass. He knew he was short. He had to put his foot in the ground, put his head down, and get that first down. That is first down awareness, which you teach your young men. It's hard to learn that. Again, it gets back to good coaching.
Ogunbowale, one of 3 Badgers that's gotten carries in the backfield. Not a whole lot of room to go that time, thanks to Bobby Baker coming up to make the tackle by the ankles. And of course, for the Badgers, no Corey Clement, the senior, if you're just joining us, out with the ankle injury last week against Akron.
He just got his ankle caught underneath the tackle and twisted. And he tried to go in pregame warm-up, just couldn't do it. And they need to save him for that rugged Big Ten schedule coming up, as we saw.
So now he's on the sideline, getting a little start on his coaching career over there with a headset on. Houston's in trouble. And Georgia State gets in there for a rare sack, only their 2nd sack of the season for this Georgia State defense.
That is a coverage sack. Georgia State is locking them down on the outside, bump and run coverage, daring you to throw the ball. And that is a coverage sack right there. He had nowhere to go with the football. Good coverage.
And downfield, the freshman Cephas was bottled up. Everybody was bottled up. The sack credited to Jameel Spencer, his first on the season, a 5-yard loss. You see the third downs there. Both teams 3 of 8 now in the game. But Wisconsin needs 14 yards. Houston almost intercepted. Jazz Peavy was the intended target over the middle, but it came closer to the hands of Bobby Baker, the safety.
That was a missed throw by Bart Houston. He didn't have his feet properly set, and he didn't have his right elbow high enough to make that throw. He dropped his right elbow and which causes a high throw. He needed to dart that ball and bring Jazz Peavy across the middle more. That's what Paul Chris is telling him right now. He just didn't get his elbow high enough, and he didn't throw the ball out in front far enough.
He's Chuck Long, former college and NFL quarterback, former coach as well, so he knows what he's seeing from those signal callers. But Houston struggling a little bit to start the third, and our score remains 6-zip Badgers.
Hey, Nikki, what are you doing here?
Eastern from East Lansing on BTN, and of course streaming live on BTN to go. Should be a lot of fun. Tune in next week. And they'll go with a sweep and handing it to Glenn Smith. Normally a tailback, but they are giving him some time at wide receiver. There they give him the ball as a tailback from the wide receiver position.
See a fly sweep there by Georgia State, but Wisconsin has great tackling corners. You saw Luburn Figaro there on the tackle, coming off the receiver, making a tackle on the jet sweep. Really good tackling secondary.
5-yard gain. 2nd and 5. Cooper Manning, or Connor Manning, I should say. Complete down the right sideline. And into Badger territory. Nice grab over the shoulder by Robert Davis. He beat the coverage of Sojourn Shelton.
And that is a great throw by Connor Manning to the outside shoulder of Robert Davis. There it is again, just a rollout. Those are tough throws to make on the run like that. Threw a BB in there over, looks like Shelton didn't know where the ball was. And you have a size difference there. You have a big receiver against Shelton who's only 5'9".
This time a reverse. Todd Boyd. So Georgia State pulling a couple extra bags out of their tricks on this drive. Saw the sweep, that time a reverse, and it picks up 9 yards.
Well, Trent Miles, the head coach of Georgia State, his halftime talk, hey, mix it up a little bit. We have nothing to lose here. Here comes the reverse with people out in front. Todd Boyd with a nice play there. Another big gain, make a second short, but I love the mix of offense right now. Throw it all out there if you're Georgia State.
Georgia State couldn't get anything going in the first quarter, but picked up a little momentum on the second quarter. Now they're going for a halfback pass, and it's knocked down incomplete. Glenn Smith was the one who threw it. Trying to get it out there to Keith Rucker, but a little underthrown.
And Glenn Smith had Keith Rucker for a touchdown. He just had to put some air on the ball. Of course, running backs really don't throw the ball out. He just threw it too flat. He needs to throw it way up in the air to the back corner. He had a touchdown.
Hits Sitchy in the back, the defender, the linebacker for Wisconsin. And now 3rd down and 1. Neal. Was he stacked up short? We'll see where the spot is. It appears he was.
Love the play calling so far. Big decision here, but I would go for the 3. Get 3 on the board.
They had a 45-yard field goal blocked in the first half. The Wisconsin defense standing tall there on 3rd down.
Not sure what Trent Miles is going to do right here. He's still thinking about it.
So the Badgers stop Neal for no gain, and Trent Miles has his offense out there, but he's going to use a timeout. He wants to talk this over. 80,000 in red. We're going berserk. But they're not going to get a 4th down try, at least just yet.
Need to think this one over.
So you say kick it, Chuck.
You need to get points on the board. Get your points on the board. Goes back to my rule of thumb. Going for a field goal early means you don't have to go for a touchdown late. So get your points on the board. You know, you got everybody on the sideline saying, go for it, go for it, go for it. They want you to go for it.
From here, it's a 42-yarder. How different is your mindset on the road when you are a really big underdog in a situation like this?
Well, your mindset is this. You have nothing to lose, which I love the way they were calling plays that last series. They called plays and nothing to lose, and here they are. They're going for it.
Nothing to lose, I guess, is the motto. Big underdogs on the road at number 9, Wisconsin. 4th down and 1, 80,000 standing. They go with Neal. And he picks up the first.
Ooh, they got it. They just went to the ISO play with Neal. He got the first right down the teeth of the Wisconsin defense. As I said earlier, that's where you want to go against this defense when you run the ball inside the tackles. Little ISO play. And Kyler Neal just buries it. Buries his head and gets the first.
And the teammates happy on the sideline.
The team talked him into it.
It worked. Pumps left, now dumps it off right to Rucker. Tackled hard at the 20. 4 yards there to set up 2nd down.
Little flat pass to Keith Rucker. Now, if you're thinking strategy here, that when you do go for a 4th down and make it, you can possess the ball, obviously, and keep the clock running. And that helps you when you're on the road as well.
Paul Chryst looking on from the Wisconsin sideline. Just hoping to preserve the lead right now. Slipping through the middle to the 15 goes Kendrick Dorn, and a flag comes in at the end of it.
There might be a hold there.
I think you're right.
Big hole.
Holding. Offense. Number 76. 10-yard penalty. Second down.
So Paul Christ will take that. Trip Miles doesn't like it. It's on the left tackle, Hunter Atkinson.
Usually when there's a big hole like that, especially against a defense like this, there's usually a hold. You see the left tackle, Atkinson, here. Yeah, he just got to keep those hands inside. Those are tough. He needs to get that head in front and cut him off.
Put a bear hug on Sitchy, and it brings up second down at 16. Swinging it out to Rucker, left side this time. Great shoestring tackle by Dakota Dixon.
Dakota Dixon is not a great open field tackler. He missed against LSU a couple times, but here he is. He must have worked on it in practice. Here he is on your right safety here on the right side of the screen. Nice job getting him down on the open field tackle. That has not been his strength, and looks like he worked on it in practice.
He did have that interception against LSU to seal the victory up at Lambeau Field. Nice tackle there. Now third down. High arcing ball left side over the head of Robert Davis. Both Musso, number 19, and number 8, Sojourn Shelton, were chasing him. Fourth down.
You had third and extra long there. I did not like that call. They threw a low percentage pass. They should have tried to get some of it back for your field goal kicker there. That was not a smart play call. But it's been a good series of play calling up until that point. Try to get some of it back.
He had the 45-yarder blocked in the first half, and guess what? It's another 45-yard attempt. And Rohier Tim Lohaus, that time he nails it. Again, this is just his third ever game of American football. He's a senior, went and tried out, made the team, and he's got Georgia State on the board with this boot from 45 yards, and the Badgers' lead is cut in half. Great show, caught it last week. Mike and company doing a fantastic job with that. And speaking of doing a fantastic job, Georgia State all around, they're doing a wonderful job of staying in this game. After the field goal, they're only down 6-3.
Well, the important thing is they got the points. Trent Miles at halftime, their head coach said, hey, open up this playbook, throw it all out there. They had a nice series, nice drive for 3.
Low kick. And the return will get him out across the 30. Alec Ingold, the fullback, the up man, with the return. Now Wisconsin is short on offense. Troy Fumagalli went out with a leg injury. We are told he will not return. Chuck.
Well, here he is on that out route early in the game. A little down and out. He makes a great catch. He must have got his leg caught underneath somehow and twisted. Great catch here, and you see where he lands. Looked like he landed on his shoulder initially, but they're saying with a leg injury.
So arguably your two biggest pieces on offense, Corey Clement out. He hasn't been here for the entire game, and street clothes on the sideline with the ankle injury. And now Fumagalli with the leg hampering him. And off to the 35, they go back to the freshman Bradrick Shaw, who had that fumble around the goal line in the first half. And instead of Bart Houston, it's Alex Hornibrook, the backup. He came in late against Akron. There are the numbers. He was effective, but that was in a blowout against Akron. How will he do here in a tight game?
Well, they really like Alex Hornibrook. Talked to him yesterday about him, like his skill set. He's in early.
Handing it off, Agumbawale, nowhere to go. Georgia State's defense. They have come to play here this afternoon. Jalen Lawrence, the first to take down number 23 in red.
And this is a hard situation for a young quarterback to come into, especially in third and long. They tried 2 running plays just to keep the chains ahead so you wouldn't have to get in these third and long situations for a young quarterback.
He's a lefty, is the freshman Hornibrook from Westchester, PA. First left-handed quarterback they've had in Madison since 08. And he's facing a 3rd and 10. Badgers 3 and 9 on third down. The southpaw finds complete to Peavy. First down, Wisconsin.
And that was an air throw that Bart Houston missed earlier to Peavy. Same route, but Hornibrook threw it with a little air on the ball so Peavy can run underneath it. This is nice right here. Good steps, good rhythm, good timing, nice air right on the sideline. That's how you get your young quarterback going. Throw the ball outside the numbers where it's nice and safe. Big completion for a young quarterback and this offense.
29-yard gain, moving into the Georgia State 40. Hornibrook again. Another completion. 2 for 2, this time to George Rushing. And Rushing takes Wisconsin to the edge of the red zone, a 19-yard reception.
Well, I like what Hornibrook did here. He was looking to his left out of that play-action fake, and then he turned around to that dig route, coming the other side by Rushing. Good rhythm and timing. What I like about that throw, he kept his wide receiver on the move. He didn't have to get low to catch the ball and stop his route. Kept him on the move to get some more yardage.
So Paul Chryst turning to the freshman left-handed quarterback. So far, 2 of 2. Down the left sideline, Ogunbowale. All the way down to the 2, and Wisconsin will have it first and goal.
That big 3rd down and 10 throw just has ignited this offense. Here's your little off-tackle play with guard and fullback out in front. Big hole, big surge up front. Good job of running with the football and squeezing the ball by Ogunbowale.
Last 3 plays for Wisconsin, 29 yards, 19 yards. That an 18-yard rush by Ogunbowale. They go heavy in the backfield. Ogunbowale is in. And it took us until inside of 3 minutes of the 3rd quarter, but the Badgers have their first touchdown.
Credit Paul Chryst with the great play call for his young quarterback on the sideline. To Jazz Peavy for the 3rd down completion. Then they rolled from there. Nice drive, and they needed it this time. Good answer to Georgia State's 3 points.
Ogunbowale for the senior, first touchdown of the season. Extra point, up and good, and some life in Camp Randall Stadium. The freshman, Alex Hornibrook, igniting this Badger offense. Got him going with his arm, completing a couple of long passes. That one to Rushing, and the drive capped off by Dare Ogunbowale. Do it right, and they did it right on this drive.
Yeah, just a little corner route to the outside by Hornibrook to Peavy to save the 3rd down and long. Here's the nice dig route throw with air. Kept his receiver on the run. Then they finish it off with some power football for the touchdown, led by that really good offensive line that's ignited right now.
And the freshman, Alex Hornibrook, came on in relief of Bart Houston to lead that drive downfield. And make it 13-3. And how about the decision by Paul Chryst? Houston was struggling a little bit, 10 of 18, 91 yards, and then Hornibrook comes in there, does a nice job.
Yeah, they were struggling with Bart Houston, and Houston just didn't throw the ball well in that last series he was in, and obviously Paul Chryst wasn't happy. Turned to his young quarterback, and it's amazing what one throw, one play can do for a football team on that 3rd and long completion. Hornibrook has ignited this football team. And they really like him. I talked to Barry Alvarez, the athletic director, and of course we talked to Paul Chryst. They really like the potential in this young man. And they're getting him out there early in the season.
Now Georgia State back on offense, facing their biggest deficit yet of 10 points. Kendrick Dorn swallowed up after a 3-yard gain.
They need to try to get the ball outside to Robert Davis. He's 6'3", 220-pound receiver. And the Wisconsin corners are not that big. Tyndall's only 5'11", and Shelton's only 5'9". They need to find that matchup on the outside and throw the ball out there a little bit like they did earlier.
Let's see if their quarterback, Connor Manning, can do just that. No relation, by the way, to any of the Manning brothers. So the first down run went for 3 yards. That time DeMarcus Kirk got hit in the backfield and taken down for a 1-yard loss.
Well, that defensive line is starting to take over right now for Wisconsin to put Georgia State in a 3rd and long.
Kirk, by the way, another UAB transfer. Georgia State, when UAB dissolved their program, they got 6 guys that came over from Alabama Birmingham to join Trent Miles' club.
Wisconsin in zone coverage.
They need 9 yards, and they've got them. First down and more. Glenn Smith into Wisconsin territory to the 35.
And that was just a little under route against zone coverage. I'm not sure where the linebackers were for Wisconsin. Here comes Smith, and there's nobody there. Just a busted coverage inside, and they took advantage of it. And Manning found Smith in that soft spot. Huge play for Georgia State.
Glenn Smith, normally a running back, putting him in the slot in this game with the absence of Penny Hart, one of their star wide receivers. Had a big play there, and then they follow that up with a very small play of 1 yard on the ground.
They have a chance to move the ball by throwing the football. The run play should be a changeup right now for Georgia State. Because Connor Manning is hot right now. He's feeling confident, and his receivers are running good routes and catching the football on the run for him.
Fake the give over the middle, complete. There's that man again, Glenn Smith. And Georgia State responding to the Wisconsin touchdown. They march it down into the red zone.
You can feel it up here, Brandon. Connor Manning's confidence right now throwing the ball. Here's a little play action fake. Sucks up the linebackers. Then he gives it to Glenn Smith right over the football. But he is throwing BBs right now.
You mentioned relying on the pass game. Only 25 yards rushing for Georgia State on 22 carries. They're going to the air again. Did he catch that? He did. Robert Davis, a spectacular over-the-shoulder grab, and Georgia State is right back in it.
Brandon, that was a great throw and catch. You couldn't throw it or catch it any better in college football. Outside shoulder, you got the mismatch with the size. Look at that throw and catch.
Now there is a flag down. Came in late. But a great catch indeed. Robert Davis, one of their best catchers in the program's history, with a great grab there.
The ruling of a touchdown is under further video review. Following the play, unsportsmanlike conduct. Georgia State bench, number 11. That foul will be enforced regardless of the outcome of the replay.
That's their backup quarterback, Aaron Winchester, number 11 in white, with a penalty. Now, a lot going on here. They're also going to take a look and make sure that was a good touchdown grab.
Come on, man. Don't get too excited. You don't need to be out on the field. But anyway, that's a great drive. Let's see if he has both feet inside or 1 foot inside here. Good throw. Good fade route throw.
Looks pretty clean to me. What'd you think?
Looked pretty clean. Good fade. Nice back shoulder. Inside the pylon.
It was a spectacular pass by Connor Manning to the senior, Robert Davis.
And a good answer to Wisconsin's scoring drive if this holds up. But they are hot right now. Connor Manning is hot for Georgia State, making all the throws.
They're reviewing that. Our rules analyst, Dick Honig, has reviewed it as well. Dick, did you see something different than they saw on the field?
I don't think so. The key is, did he maintain possession of the ball? I think he got his feet down. Then the question would be, did he get the ball inside the pylon, and did he maintain possession? And I think he did.
Confirmed. Following the play, unsportsmanlike conduct. Georgia State, number 11. That 15-yard penalty will be assessed on the kickoff. It is number 11's first unsportsmanlike conduct foul. A second results in game disqualification.
So the touchdown stands. Dick Honig is correct. Greg Blum, our referee here, is correct. And Robert Davis grabbing it, getting it in for 6.
Got a funny formation here.
Another look at the replay, but yeah, on the field right now, they're lining up as if they're going to try to go for 2.
Great catch.
And now they shift out of that and go into normal PAT. The normal PAT setup with Rohirton Lowhouse, the kicker, ready. So how about the response by Georgia State? Wisconsin scores, goes up 10. Georgia State marches right back down the field to get within 3.
Why do quarterbacks throw the back shoulder on near the goal line? Because they're undefendable. Hard ball to defend, but they have to have a great catch out of it, which Robert Davis did. That was an excellent throw and catch. Hard to defend those balls. That's why quarterback throws it. And here's Winchester.
Not sure what he did.
I guess he had his helmet off.
Well, there's a look at Robert Davis, who caught that touchdown pass. 13th of his career, one of the most decorated players in Georgia State's short history.
Those are hard throws to master. It takes a lot of work and practice to throw the back shoulder, but they're undefendable.
His former quarterback Chuck Long on Brandon Gaudin. That kick is into the end zone. Just 19 seconds left in the third quarter. And you know what happens at the end of this third quarter here in Madison? They do the jump around where 80,000 go berserk. And we will take a short break and then come back and have great coverage of that as well. We know the students are ready for it. I'm ready for it. It'll be my first jump around experience. They say it shakes up here in the press box.
It will shake.
It shakes.
They're ready to go. I see that.
They just were probably expecting to be up a little bit more than 3 right now, but instead they've got a game. And Alex Hornibrook back out there for his second drive in relief of Bart Houston.
They need an answer here. Georgia State answering effectively after Wisconsin took it all the way down the field. See how they start this series off.
Rolling left. And a simple pitch and catch to Robert Wheelwright out near the 30.
Just an easy throw. Keeping the footballs on the outside for your young quarterback. Outside the hash or numbers is where you want to throw the football if you can with a young quarterback. Exactly what they're doing. A little roll out there, a little pick play to Wheelwright.
Third quarter over. We'll have coverage of jump around in just a moment. We got a game, Chuck.
I had to hold on to something during that jump around up here. It was shaking up here, Brandon.
17 of the 23 points coming in that third quarter. And Wisconsin with the freshman quarterback taking over, Alex Hornibrook. He led the touchdown drive. Now how will he do here? 2nd and 5 as we start the fourth. He'll turn and give to Agunbowale. Pushed out over on the Badger sideline by Bobby Baker and Trey Payne.
And you're seeing again, Georgia State is settling in their defensive philosophy right now, and man-to-man bump and run coverage on the outside, putting an extra defender in the box to stop that Wisconsin running game and dare them to throw the ball, especially with a young quarterback. Even though Hornibrook's completed some big passes, they're still daring him to throw the ball.
Shaw in the backfield now, I formation. Shaw has enough and a little extra out to the 39.
It doesn't matter how many guys you put in the box that time. Georgia State had everybody down, and that old line still moved them off the ball. Get a big first down for Shaw.
Wisconsin up around 145 yards rushing. Meanwhile, Georgia State, they have really struggled. Just 9 rushing yards for the Panthers on the ground. But they got it going through the air last drive, and they're only down 3.
Let's see if Wisconsin goes to the big pass play again, because that Georgia State defense is crowding the line of scrimmage.
Deal with Wisconsin trying to get set on offense here as they're trying to have the chain gang get things sorted out. They were having an issue moving the chains, literally. The chain gang, not Wisconsin. They moved it. The chain gang couldn't catch up. Now they're all set and ready to go. They got it all sorted out.
You have a 2 tight end set, 2 running backs, and only 1 wide receiver here.
That wide receiver, the freshman A.J. Taylor, in motion. Again, Agunbowale. A 2-yard gain, second and 8, tackled by Alonzo McGee, the inside linebacker.
We call that flanker formation. It is a run formation. There's not much pass game out of that. Obviously, when you only have 1 wide receiver, they're coming back with their wide receiver crew right now on a 2nd long.
Wisconsin trying to get to 3-0 before that tough Big Ten schedule hits. Being challenged here by Georgia State. But the freshman Hornibrook completes another pass. This time to Jazz Peavy.
And that was a little curl route by Jazz Peavy in the soft spot of the Georgia State defense. Right where the outside linebacker should be, but they did a nice job. Good rhythm, good timing, good curl route. And he throws it on time so Peavy can catch and get up the field.
Hornibrook 4 of 4, 97 yards. Now he's 4 of 5. I jinxed him. All right, let's send it to Chicago for a T-Mobile studio update with Mike Hall.
Brandon, the last FCS game ever for Iowa is a tight one, but this is Matt Vandenberg's 2nd touchdown catch of the day, and it gives the Hawkeyes the lead 21-14, but they're really scratching and clawing against the Bison.
Hawkeyes ranked 13th, so they're having some struggles. Wisconsin ranked number 9. They're having struggles here in Madison. Trying to push the lead up to more than 3 through the hands of the intended target and intercepted by Chandon Sullivan. George Rushing could not grab it for Wisconsin. Great reflexes by the corner Sullivan, and Georgia State has the football back.
And Alex Hornibrook made a nice throw. He went to the right side, went to the curl route on the other side, just went right through the hands of Rushing.
So the interception at Georgia State handled a missed field goal there at the end of intermission, and then the second half, Hornibrook started to settle in.
Yeah, he settled in and made a nice dig route to spark that offense that led to a big touchdown of power football by Wisconsin. But then Georgia State answered on the next drive with a great throw by Manning to Robert Davis on the back shoulder throw for a touchdown. Keep him in this game.
So it was, as they go to the ground here for very little, it was 6-3 after Hornibrook came in to take over, led him on that touchdown drive. They went up 13-3. Georgia State responded with that touchdown grab by Davis. And just a moment ago, the interception by Chandon Sullivan. And now Georgia State with a chance, if they could march it down here, to either tie or take the lead in the 4th. And you saw the look of discomfort on the faces of the fans here at Camp Randall. Manning on a slant, and he's got Glenn Smith inside the 40. Glenn Smith is tripped up inside the 10. T.J. Edwards just got enough of his left ankle, or else Georgia State would be in front.
That was a great play by T.J. Edwards tripping up. This is a great throw by Manning. Look at this little slant route. He is throwing bullets right now. And there he goes, Glenn Smith, who's had a hot hand. Nice combination today between those two guys. Just a little slant, missed tackles there, and Smith made him pay. That was a touchdown, but T.J. Edwards made a nice play.
This time it is a touchdown. Kyler Neal, first of the season for the redshirt junior, and Georgia State has the lead in the 4th quarter at Camp Randall.
The whole thing is blocking that defensive front of Wisconsin, which they're doing right now. That's where team struggles, protection schemes. Georgia State is protecting their quarterback now. It's allowing them to get the ball off on time.
And the few Georgia State fans that have made the trip up from Atlanta, they might be just as stunned as the 80,000 in red. Tin Lowhouse to add the point after. And that makes it a 4-point Panther lead. Trent Miles pumped on the sideline. Neal with a huge hole. Hits on that last drive and getting the lead.
Has some big plays in that drive. And they set up a great touchdown run with that edge passing, spreading that defense out. As you mentioned, Brandon, some good blocking up front. And they have some confidence over there on offense right now. And they're protecting their quarterback.
Ogunbowale back to receive the kick. Cutting it outside, Ogunbowale. A good return, maybe that will spark the Badgers. But let's go back to the touchdown run by Kyler Neal. What did you see here, Chuck?
Watch the right guard, Alex Storr, number 56, pull and pick up the safety coming down. Great vision on his part. Picks off the safety. Ooh, nice play. Nice blocking up front to allow Kyler Neal to score the touchdown.
He erased the safety, Musso. Neal gets in for his first score of the year. Now what can Georgia State's defense do with 11:28 left in the fourth? Hornibrook hands it off. Short gain of a couple.
Gary Ogunbowale on the carry.
Tackled by Julian Laurent.
91, Laurent.
Big 315-pounder. And it will be 2nd and 8.
They're going to have to throw the ball just because of the box look or the box count of Georgia State. They have more than one you can block in that box right now. Daring you to throw the football. Look for passes to be on outside the hashes here for Hornibrook.
Pocket clean over the middle. And a nice catch by Rob Wheelwright. And a well-thrown ball also by Hornibrook.
I love Hornibrook there because he looked to the flat receiver first. He didn't have it. Came right back inside and threw a strike to Robert Wheelwright. And he's big, strong receiver. So just put that ball out in front and he'll come down with it.
Chuck, you were a quarterback at this level at the NFL. How tough is it for a freshman like Hornibrook to come off the bench in the second half of this situation?
It's tough because your head's spinning. All of a sudden you get the call and you have to produce, create a spark, and he's done that.
This time he's looking for a big spark. And inside the 20, he's got his tight end, Kyle Peniston. Well, he may have been held on that as well, but Peniston was able to adjust and grab it.
What a nice throw to the corner with air. Watch the protection here first. They are really protecting this young quarterback. Good rhythm and timing. Look at his concentration down the field. Look at that concentration, and look at the air on the football to give your tight end a chance. He has some really nice touch on the football. Very catchable ball.
They send Peniston in motion. Hand off to the freshman Shaw. And he slips his way down to the 11.
And the young guys are sparking this team. You have Shaw as a freshman. You have Hornibrook as a freshman.
The future of the Badgers.
Two young guys coming in sparking this football team right now.
And a senior in Corey Clement, if you're just joining us, out with an ankle injury. They're running back, and Troy Fumagalli early on in the game injured his leg, and we're told he will not return. Bart Houston looks on. He started the game at quarterback, the fifth-year senior. Timeout is called here before Hornibrook can take the snap.
They're getting short on play clock there. I like that new rule that head coaches can call timeouts now. I wish I had that as a quarterback.
Well, you were also a head coach, so you probably wish you had that as a head coach as well.
Yeah, back in the day, you didn't have that luxury. You had to call timeouts out on the field, so you had to pay attention to everything, every clock on the field. I like that.
Paul Chris and his Badgers, they have won 36 consecutive home games against non-conference opponents. But that streak right now is very much in jeopardy.
It definitely is. This Georgia State team said something at halftime. Of course, they went in there only 6 down. And Trent Miles, their head coach, must have done something right at halftime, open up that offensive playbook. And that quarterback's hot right now. Connor Manning.
Wisconsin since 2004 here at home, 74-9 against all competition. That's second best in all of FBS football. Such a tough place to play. But Georgia State has been up to the task. And Shaw will take it for a first down near the 5.
Well, he was tucking that ball now. He had two hands over that football because he fumbled earlier in the first half. And just put his head down and got the necessary yards for the first down. That's power football, guard pulls, right up the A gap, which is between the center and the guard. That's Wisconsin football.
They give Shaw a breather, bring back in Agunbowale. High formation. Dare Agunbowale is short of the end zone by a yard.
He stuttered just a tad in the backfield. If he didn't stutter, he would have scored a touchdown. Just your power football game. He kind of stopped right there, allowed the defense to recover. But that offensive line is taking care of that defensive line of Georgia State right now. In both running the football, blowing them off the line of scrimmage, and pass protection.
167 yards on the ground for Wisconsin, just 33 for Georgia State. This time they turned and gave it to Shaw, the freshman, but he got stopped short. He tried to go right up the gut, but to no avail.
Big call right here on 3rd and goal. I never liked these situations as a play caller. You felt like it was a little bit too far to run the ball. So it forced you to throw it, but you have this Wisconsin offensive line in front of you as well.
Well, if you're Paul Chryst, this is where you really miss Corey Clement, your star senior tailback. Play action. Honeybrook, touchdown! Kyle Peniston, his first touchdown grab as a Wisconsin Badger, and it could not have come at a better time.
And another freshman. All these freshmen are taking over. That was a nice rollout. He's a left-handed quarterback rolling out to his right. Had to flip his body around to make that throw. Man, I love the touch and accuracy of Alex Hornibrook right now. That was a great play call by Paul Chryst.
You're right, though. The story is those older guys out with injuries, and Hornibrook, Shaw, and Peniston, the tight end, freshmen in there making some big-time plays.
Just a little bootleg off the play-action fake, and it's all set up by the fake. Nice fake there. And he rolls out, goes opposite of his body. Nice play.
Badgers back in front in a good one.
The ball over. Of course, they missed the field goal right before the half. But this is a ball game right now, and Georgia State has answered, especially off the last turnover. But Wisconsin had a nice drive with Hornibrook with a touchdown pass to Peniston. Remember those 3 freshman names: Shaw, Hornibrook, and Peniston.
Dunn trying to escape, and he is pushed out inside the 15. Not sure he should have fielded that, but pinned deep. Wisconsin, meanwhile, we talked about the miscues. They have had them, a plethora of them.
Well, here's Shaw fumbling near the goal line, which he protected the ball a lot better. Just got stripped out. There's the missed field goal before the half. It was only 6-0 at half. Then they had the interception. Went right through the hands, and Georgia State answered off of that. Let's see what they do here offensively. Remember, your quarterback here, Connor Manning, has the hot hand, so I would throw the ball and mix in the run occasionally.
Manning over 260 yards of passing. That one batted away by Derek Tyndall, the corner.
And that's Robert Davis. He needs to come back to the ball. Manning actually threw the ball well in a spot that come back to the football, come help your quarterback. That was the only mistake I've seen Robert Davis do all game. He needs to come back to the ball and help him out.
He's had quite a game in a tough atmosphere. Mentioned that he spent 3 years at Utah as a backup, never started. His first year as a starter there, he completes it to Davis, but this Wisconsin D is fired up, and Jack Sitchie and a couple others got to Davis quickly.
That was Sojourn Shelton. A nice job undercutting that block, that lead blocker, to make the play on Davis. Good tackling corners here at Wisconsin.
Yeah, Shelton, a 4-year starter, his 40th start in this one. And he and Sitchie combined for a nice play for a loss of 1. 3rd and 11. Complete over the middle, but not enough. Glenn Smith couldn't get to the chain.
Good defensive stand. Wisconsin played full zone defense there and kept the ball in front of them. That's smart football. Make him complete it underneath and make the tackle short of the first down. That was a great zone coverage. Nice defensive stand there.
Trent Miles hoping to somehow get the biggest win of his coaching career. But that 3-and-out didn't help. A low punt to Peavy. Peavy in plus territory down to the 41.
Brought down at the 43-yard line.
Wisconsin just trying to escape here against Georgia State before hopping into that very daunting upcoming schedule where they face Michigan State, Michigan, Ohio State, and Iowa in 4 straight games.
Oh, that's the gauntlet. All ranked teams. At least they get a little break between Michigan and Ohio State with a bye week to catch their breath. But those are your 4 biggies for Wisconsin right in a row.
I think they deserve a month off after that stretch. Before playing Nebraska, it doesn't get much easier when you go and host Nebraska. Gunbowale tripped up. Alonzo McGee was able to disrupt him. And now McGee is slow to get to his feet.
Alonzo McGee put a hit on him and hurt himself. I like this linebacker. He is a player.
He's one of our big impact players. So hopefully McGee is okay, but down right now with 5:28 to go. Gingerly. That would be a big loss for the Panthers.
Here's McGee, and he is their leader on defense. He's inside out to the ball carriers with how you coach it.
Just ran into his own teammate there trying to make the tackle. Caught a helmet to the side to the hip. Now Hornibrook running for his life. Off balance, he's just going to chuck it away.
Alex Hunter's pass.
Good play by Hornibrook, and that's what I look for in young quarterbacks. Are they going to throw the ball away when nothing's there or force it into coverage? Good job of the throwaway there.
So 3rd down. Wisconsin 6 of 12 at 3rd down tries.
When you have a young quarterback, every call is big, especially on 3rd and longer yardage. You want safe throws, but yet you have to get the first down. They might have to take a chance to get one over the middle.
Let's see where Hornibrook goes. He does go over the middle, and a first down it is. To the 25 to Rob Wheelwright, the senior from Columbus, Ohio.
And that is confidence in your quarterback, a young quarterback. When I was coaching a young guy, I didn't want to throw those over the middle balls because there's too many guys in there. But this is Paul Chryst believing in his young quarterback. Down and in route. Nice placement of the football with great touch.
Alex Hornibrook, they said he had such a great spring. Initially, they thought, well, maybe we'll redshirt this guy. We've got Bart Houston. He had such a great spring, put him in contention. They played him a little last week against Akron and now thrusting him into the spotlight here in the second half against Georgia State. He gives to his freshman mate, Bradrick Shaw, for a gain of 2.
And they're giving the ball to the right guys. You saw the big completion to Wheelwright. He's a big, strong receiver over the middle. They're putting the receivers in the right spots on the field. There's Paul Chryst. He has an excellent offensive mind, great history, set all kinds of records here when he's the offensive coordinator for Wisconsin. Knows how to move the football, but more importantly, putting his guys in the right spots on the field.
Yeah, but you're starting to hit on it there. He and his offensive coordinator, Joe Rudolph, they've been together for a while, and they, in tandem, call these plays. They say great minds think alike. Yesterday, when we asked Paul Chris, so how do you know who calls what? He said, well, I call the good plays, and the ones that don't work, Joe called them.
That's right.
There's Joe Rudolph.
And it works. You know, I was the offensive coordinator in Oklahoma with Kevin Wilson, the head coach in Indiana, and he was our run game coordinator, and I relied on him to call run plays for me. And we had a smooth operation, so it can work.
Georgia State taking a timeout. 3:44 on the clock. It'll be a big 3rd and 8 coming up. The Panthers just hoping to hold Wisconsin to a field goal try and keep it a one-score game. Today at 3:30, Jim Harbaugh leads 4th-ranked Michigan against Colorado. And then in primetime, Northwestern takes on Duke. Coverage continues after our game on BTN and streaming live on BTN to go.
Now your 3rd and 8 here. You saw the over-the-middle pass before, which can be dangerous. Or take the safe throw and stay in field goal range, getting better field goal range.
Of course, even if Wisconsin would hit a field goal, Georgia State could win it with a touchdown.
They could. This is a tough call.
We'll see where Wisconsin gets on 3rd down and 8. They need to get to the 15.
You have the 3 points, so you don't want to mess that up, or the potential for 3. You do not want to take a sack here.
Wisconsin climbing into the top 10 of the AP poll this week for the first time since 2011. There they tried to get it to the freshman. Incomplete. A.J. Taylor could not hang on.
Yeah, that was a good drop. You never want to say, you know, it's hard to say it's a good drop, but if he would have caught that ball, he had a defender right in his face.
So Paul Chris sends out the field goal unit. While Gaglianone has hit 2, he missed badly at the end of the first half from just 30 yards. This would be a 41-yarder, the same distance he made in the first quarter. And that one is good, just inside the right upright for the Sao Paulo, Brazil native Rafael Gaglianone.
And they get 3 more, which means Georgia State needs a touchdown to win it. Nice hold, nice kick. Right down the middle.
Leaking to the right, but able to get it to stay in. Gaglianone fired up.
Powerful leg.
He hit the game-winning field goal with a couple minutes left against LSU in that huge Week 1 victory for the Badgers. And able to right the ship after that miss in the second quarter. 7 plays, 19 yards, 2:17 off the clock. The Badgers, obviously, Chuck, were hoping for a touchdown. Now, if you're Georgia State, I think if you had told their head coach, Trent Miles, hey, you're going to be down 6 and get the ball with 3:36 on the clock in the fourth quarter, he would have taken that.
Absolutely. He didn't know how his team was going to be. They had injuries coming into this game. There's several of their starters coming off an 0-2 in the first 2 games, and they have come to compete today. Playing well.
Low kick. Tumbling through the end zone.
Well, defense had a nice stand last time. Let's see if they can do it again. Again, it's all about throwing the football first and then mixing in the run for Georgia State. That's been their formula today in moving the football with a hot quarterback in Connor Manning. Let's see if Wisconsin plays a little bit more zone coverage in the back end.
Wisconsin, they got some tough news to start today with Corey Clement not able to play. Then their tight end Fumagalli went out with an injury. Then they replaced their quarterback Bart Houston with a freshman Hornibrook. So a lot has been in flux for the Badgers, but they're trying to get this crowd fired up to hold on and preserve this lead. Manning sails that one out of bounds.
Good coverage. They tried the pick play that Wisconsin ran earlier with Hornibrook. Nice coverage by Wisconsin. I guess they've seen that a lot in practice. Good throwaway by Manning. Both quarterbacks playing smart today. Love good quarterback play.
Spoken like a true former quarterback, Chuck Long. Trent Miles wants a little more out of Manning. Badger bench telling these fans to stand up, and they oblige. Batted in the air, and it drops harmlessly to the turf before Musso can get to it. Robert Davis, the intended target, 3rd and 10.
Robert Davis wanted the pass interference. It's just a slant route in traffic. Oh, I don't know. Shelton had nice blanket coverage on him.
Manning is 20 of 28, 269 yards and a touchdown. Does he have another rabbit in his hat? He does not, at least not there. Incomplete, 4th down.
I think there's miscommunication there. Not sure where Manning was throwing it. There's no receiver there. I think they were supposed to have a curl route or a dig route, an in route, and there was nobody there.
So now Georgia State will have to punt, and then they will have to stop Wisconsin from getting a first down. If Wisconsin gets a first, they can run the clock out. That one hits and takes a decent Panther bounce. And Keith Rucker jumps on it near the 35. So in case you're just joining us, here's a scoring recap of the second half, Chuck.
Well, you had the power football, which is a Wisconsin trademark for the touchdown there. The great fade, back shoulder throw from Manning to Davis. Then he had to run by Kyler Neal off the tackle pull. Nice rollout by Hornibrook to Peniston. It's been a quarterback show here. Both quarterbacks playing well, playing smart, and moving the ball.
Hornibrook, since entering the game, 8 of 12, 122 yards, the touchdown and the interception. But the interception was one that went through the hands of his receiver, George Rushing. So maybe not his fault.
Here's where burning those 2 timeouts come back to haunt you for Georgia State. With only 1 timeout left, you need all 3.
2nd and 6, 4-yard gain. And again, 1 first down. With Georgia State, as you said, with just a single timeout, and that might be about it. We'll see.
And Wisconsin's a little 4-minute offense right now, which means that quarterback, Hornibrook, needs to watch the play clock and snap it with 2 seconds left. A lot of runs, snap it with 2 seconds left on the play clock.
There he snapped it with 4. Up the middle, that's a nice carry, short of the marker, but only a yard away from a first. And Georgia State will burn that last time out, and essentially the play of the game now coming up after this. Wisconsin up 6. You see star running back Corey Clement. He's been out, street clothes on the sideline with the ankle injury. Badgers trying to preserve this lead. 2:24 left. And the Badgers have it. 3rd down and 1. If they can get a first down now, Georgia State out of timeouts. That would all but put a bow on this one.
2 tight ends set here for Wisconsin. Georgia State needs to load that box to have a chance to stop it.
They need a yard. They give it to the fullback. And they got it. Alec Ingold. Instead of going with Agunbowale, they go with Ingold, and he gets the surge needed.
The old fullback belly play. We used to run that back in 1982, 83, 84. Not too many teams run it anymore. Just a little belly play, we call it, right up the middle. Give it to your big fullback, Alec Ingold. First down. No one runs that play anymore, Brandon. Only Wisconsin.
Yeah, I was just going to say, they showed it right there. They're up over 175 yards rushing on the day as a team. And now the Badgers can work that clock. But boy, what a job by Georgia State in this game. Agunbowale getting it out near midfield. Let's give you our Duluth Trading Company hardest working player, and that's the freshman that came off the bench, Alex Hornibrook.
What a ball game he's had coming off the bench. Look at his percentage. The one interception is really not his fault. Made a great throw. Went right through the receiver's hands. He has played well and made good decisions. And head coach Paul Chris has thrown that ball over the middle for him too, which can be dangerous throws with a lot of bodies in there. So he's reading things very well.
Bradrick Shaw tripped and then being twisted like a pretzel. He pops up okay.
And
take a look at some of the throws that Hornibrook's made.
He's throwing the dig route very well today. Keeps his receivers on the move, which is what you want in your quarterback. Here's a nice corner throw to his tight end, Peniston, another freshman. Here's the bootleg, throwing opposite his body to Peniston. Boy, he makes all the throws, and they're accurate.
So 3rd down and 7.
Take a knee.
Yep, just get in the victory formation. Go down to a knee and let that clock tick down. A valiant effort by Georgia State, but the upset bid falls just a touch short. Wisconsin escapes 23-17.
Well, like you said, Georgia State, they lost the game, but they're going to go home with some confidence, finally, especially on offense, moving forward. They're going to have a good year. Wisconsin hasn't sputtered today, made some mistakes, but Hornibrook came in and sparked this team. That's what you want out of your quarterback. What a bright future he has.
Yeah, now they've got that tough schedule coming up. We'll see what they do. Houston and Hornibrook, maybe a little quarterback decision to be made after the Hornibrook performance. And they also, Chuck, they need to get some guys healthy.
Need to get some guys healthy. Need to get Corey Clement back. He's their big-time star and running back. And that they're going to need that running game now moving forward against those 4 teams we were talking about coming up. Those will be slugfests inside, and they will need their running game.
Yeah, they'll face Michigan State, Michigan, Ohio State, and Iowa in the next 4 games. Will Wisconsin, 3 of those 4, all except Ohio State, will be on the road for the Badgers. But they'll be hoping to get running back Corey Clement back. Again, Troy Fumagalli went out early in this one with a leg injury. The bottom line is, though, it's an old cliche, but this one goes in the left-hand column for the Badgers, and they preserve their perfect record at 3-0.
Yeah, it's a big win, and they did it with some freshmen. And that's good to see. The great future here at Wisconsin with 3 freshmen and Shaw and Hornibrook and Peniston coming through today in a much-needed victory going into the rugged Big Ten season.
Certainly a tip of the cap to Georgia State for their effort. They came in 0-2, but they gave Wisconsin all they could handle. And the Badgers, though, in the end, they get the win. Once again, our final score, 23-17. Coming up, we'll take you out to Temple and